Okay. Win the die roll and get a fine hand. Keep it. 3 lands Vivian. Love to see it. So yeah, pretty easy keep in my opinion. You have a 2-drop, and then you have kind of cards you can play a 3-drop and then a 4-drop. Like just a good hand, I think. So I play Barkhide Troll and pass. Kind of an obvious choice to me. It just makes more sense as a 2-drop to play than Ooze. And then I draw a land. Looks like maybe another Mono Green Mirror. Here's kind of an interesting choice. I could Gem Razor my Barkhide Troll, or I could play Ooze. It's kind of interesting because Gem Razoring it is more mana efficient. I would get a 5/5 Trampler mutate, and I have a Vivian to curve into. But, like, what if I trade was like a Questing Beast because that has Death Touch? What if I want to kill like a Stone Coil or a Great Henge? But I'm actually going to get kind of punished for playing this Ooze. So because they play a Yorvo, and what's going to happen here? I could play. So now I'm gonna get max punished for not doing it because of Yorvo. I mean, I guess maybe Love Strike Beast wouldn't be the same, but yeah. Because I play Yorvo, so that's kind of awkward. Do I want to play Gem Razor? Get a 4/4. Do I want to mutate my Gem Razor? Do I want, you know? But I'm like, I'll just get Vivian and play. I think that's what I decide to do. I'm like, how do I want to distribute the counters? Something else I could have done is I could have like attacked with my Ooze. And then if they blocked, I could have like fought, but then it's kind of awkward if they play like Questing Beast, so I don't know. So I choose to put 2 counters there, and then they do this. So that's kind of awkward for me. You know, they have like an 8/8 or 9/9 in play or whatever. So. And I kind of debate like, should I block? But I end up coming to the conclusion, no. It has trample, so you can't block with the Ooze. I don't know what I was doing there, but I could like block with the Barkhide Troll and then like keep Vivian in play, but then Vivian has trample. So she goes to 2. So I decided I'm just going to try and race back. So I debate for a while, but then I finally let it happen. I draw the land. I just cast a Gem Razor. I could mutate, but I figure casting it's better. Because just like spread out the power, spread out the bodies. Plus if I mutate onto my Barkhide Troll, their Gem Razor is going to be bigger anyway. They go to 10, I'm at 20. And they play Stone Coil. So that's pretty good for me because now I have a second Gem Razor, so I actually mutate. And here I'm going to have well, first of all, I have a few options. First of all, I could play Stone Coil and then mutate onto my Stone Coil. So that's an option. But I could also hold the Stone Coil because it's a big X spell, and also have this Wildborn Preserver. And also because I have Scavenging Ooze I can activate. And here's another thing. Their life total is kind of low. Like, if I attack with everything, I could bring them to 3 life. If they're at 3 life, that means that they're kind of like pretty close to dying because I have this District. And I have... So basically, if they only play 1 blocker next turn, so let's say I attack with everything. They block my 7/7, and then I get to eat twice. So this would be a 4/4 after. But they would go to 3 because I would eat this, and they would take 7, go to 3. So once they're at 3 life, that means that like they're pretty close to dying, and I have this District. Like they would basically need a double spell next turn, otherwise they're just dead. Because I have this District, so I consider the attack, but I end up kind of chickening out. I'm like, well, what if they have like Ram Through, and what if they have like Ram Through and a creature? Like what if they just, like a fight spell and a creature? They could double spell, and then I just threw away my card for damage, and I could just play the long game. Like I have Wildborn Preserver and Stone Coil, so it was like, yeah, and I have Ooze, so I got kind of conservative here, and I think I made no attacks, but I'm not sure it was right. I kind of regret it because it would have worked better. So yeah, so they attack with that, and I could not block, but I have this Ooze in play, so I don't know, maybe it's a bait or something, but I just decide to block, like, at the end of the day. And then they go for... Actually, I guess they did double spell, so... But yeah, now maybe they have their own Ooze, so I debate a little bit. Do I want to try and shrink their Ooze or play my Preserver? And I think I ended up playing my Preserver, because I figured all the... If I don't spend... So basically, I'm like, well, they probably have their own Ooze. That's why they made this aggressive play and they want to grow it. But they have 1 card in hand. But I figured all the mana I don't spend on my Preserver is like counters lost. Because all the excess mana I have, I can just use as counters on my Stone Coil or counters on my Preserver. So that's why I decided to play Preserver, basically. But I do tank for a while. But yeah, I play my Preserver and I draw a Gem Razor. Here, it's kind of interesting. Which creature do you cast? I think I go for Stone Coil. Because if they have a Gem Razor, it's not that bad. Like, they have to mutate so they don't like get a new creature, and it's like kind of this way. If they play a Stone Coil or if they play Great Henge, I can save my Gem Razor. It's kind of like more mana efficient. I could spread out the counters. Like I could have made this a 4/4 and then make this a 3/3. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. So what do they do? Here they play their own Stone Coil, and then I think I just have a Lethal here because I tag with everything and they're dead, or they go to 1 life, but they have to like block. It doesn't work well. So here I sideboard the same. Is this where I start getting a new plan? I think maybe Gem Razor was so good. I was like, oh, maybe I like Gem Razor. Also, I lost to Great Henge last round. I'm like, I'm on the draw. So I do something kind of sketchy and new sideboard plan. I side out a land to keep in the Gem Razor because I'm like on the draw. I'm like, oh, I have Oakham Ranger as a 2-drop. Like, it kind of helps me hit land drops. I'm siding in these extra fight spells so I can help the Ranger get through. I'm like, yeah, like the games go kind of long. Gem Razor is pretty useful. Like, you can trade with a Questing Beast, or it can like have some other. It can do a lot of various stuff. With the mutate ability, or I can just cast it as like an Obstinate Bailout kind of. So kind of a sketchy plan, but here we are. And here you can see I was debating if I want to side out the District or the Forest, and I get this hand. So maybe Forest would have been slightly better, but I think District's probably fine overall. The games go kind of long, and District's pretty good card. I don't know what I was doing at this point. I guess I was keeping myself occupied. Okay, so left strike Beast. And by the way, this hand's very good, so yeah. If that wasn't clear. I mean, I don't have a 2-drop if they don't play a 2-drop, but I have a 2-drop if you pick up what I'm saying. It would have been interesting if they attacked. I would have had the decision to block. Now I have the decision. Do I want to do anything? I guess I probably tagged too long this turn. I'm like, do I want to Rams through? Because I kind of consider this, but I'm like, just chill sometimes. So I think they missed a land drop. So yeah, this is kind of becomes not a great game because they kind of just miss a land drop, and then that's a huge disadvantage because, I mean, no further explanation really required. You can still win, but it's not a great spot to be in. I draw Wildborn Preserver, and I think I cast Ranger and Rams through. I could cast Ranger and then offer the trade, and then if they take the trade, then I could try to like, use the Rams through to get my Ranger in so that I can get like the Death Touch trigger. So maybe this was greedy, but I'm like 5 damage is pretty good, and this might have been greedy. So because I could have maybe like attacked and then passed with the Rams through up or something. But it could go bad if like let's say they play, Oakham Ranger land pass or something, because then I don't really want to Rams through. So this was kind of like a pretty safe line. But now I just play Vivian, I think. I do have other options, but I have a lot of options with the Vivian too. Like, what do I want to put counters on? Do I want to fight? I think I fight here, but I think it might have been a better option to put 2 counters on the human and then pass. I think that might have been a better option. Well, here, because I'm like, oh, I get a draw card. Like, I really wanted to draw a card. But honestly, I think it might have been better just to put 2 counters on the human and pass, because that way that lets like, well, I guess in the Love Struck Beast it can't attack anymore, but I already have Vivian in play, and like just keeping Vivian around is pretty good. And then like that token can trade with the adversary already, and then I can like use the Vivian minus to get through my Ranger like later. I guess they can play another creature, but I know it's kind of a complicated play. I think my play is fine at the end of the day. Here I kind of debate, like, do I want to block the Questing Beast or do I want to block these human tokens? I end up deciding to just block a token just to get the max val. And now I kind of have a crazy turn here, so because I just cast both Pelt Collectors, which is going to be very good here. And then I cast my Wildborn Preserver, and then I'm going to mutate onto my Oakham Ranger. Because this way it has the Trampled Death Touch combination, and it's a 4/4, so that way if they block my Ranger, I still draw a card. And then I get like 6 damage in. So that was kind of my logic. I'm not sure if this was the best play, but it makes kind of sense, because I also have these mobilized districts, so I kind of want to just use up my mana. And then by offering, if creature, I should have attacked with the human probably. I wasn't really, but I don't know. But because this way I can start growing my Pelt Collectors, and they're just, life is so low. Like, look at this situation. They're basically dead. So they Primal Might, they fight, and then they scoop, and that's that round.